Teed up indoors on Battleground 2310 Battleground Avenue. Got some great golf here. A lot of golf being played here in the cooler temperatures of December. Got the bays all filled this evening. Davis Troxler is our Teed up indoors golf coach, our leader. He's out this week with some COVID sickness. He'll be back next week, I'm sure. We got FIF Ramey back again tonight, set for the Reidsville Rams championship game coming up. And you think about that championship game. The Reidsville Rams are rocking right now. And Reidsville versus the Clinton Dark Horses. Al Lee's been the man to see in 2023. 5 TD passes last week versus Shelby, flipping the field. Won't yield or slow down. You got Kendra Harrison, championship game type receiver. Deontay Neal, since he came back, no slack in the Rams. Cam Jones, wide receiver. Jarrell Cobb, running back. Aiden Mansfield, Paul Weiderman. Man, what about right now? This team is loaded and prime for the championship. What about you're following these guys close?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a very important game, obviously. Football capital of North Carolina, they don't get that name for nothing. 22 state titles, and they want number 23. Last year they had an amazing team as well and fell short in the championship game by devastating 3 points. So can't come into this too confident, but they have to be a little bit confident in their guys based on how they've been performing lately.
3 p.m. kickoff. Carter Finley Stadium, Raleigh.
Yeah, up in Raleigh.
Should be on TV 48. People are going to watch it locally. I always like to watch those championship games on TV 48. Eric T. looking for a state title. His first year as Rams head coach. He's got to be feeling good about how this team has advanced and progressed all season.
He's a rookie coach, taking over for his Hall of Fame father. That's well documented. Expectations very high, taking over a Reidsville team that had Kendra Harrison, Deontay Neal as freshmen last year. They knew they'd stay good, and he's lived up to the expectations. They recently named the Mid-State 2A Conference Coach of the Year, but that didn't come without adversity. They had to deal with some early season injuries, didn't have as much dominance as usual for Reidsville, and they had one early loss. And with Reidsville, you know, one loss feels like an 0-17 season. So, you know, the fans got a little bit antsy, but injuries cleared up.
They were building from the inside. They got all those injured players back. They were better than they were before.
Team chemistry was building up, and now they've had relative ease in the postseason. Nobody's really challenged them too much.
And you got to like the job Al Lee's done. This guy set as a quarterback. He's putting his name on the map right now. 5 TD passes last week, and Flippin's becoming one of his primary receivers, and they're just coming together and they got the running back too, Cobb, still carrying the ball necessary. Right now, this team is really
Al Lee's been amazing. 47-8 touchdown to interception ratio this year. He's had 11 touchdowns, no interceptions the past 2 playoff games. A completion percentage of 64.8%, 128.5 QBR. He's getting like 15 yards per completion and offers from all kinds of colleges.
Is he a senior? This is his last roundup. What about Flippin? What year's Flippin? Is he a senior also?
I'm actually not sure. I think he's a junior, but I'm not.
Because Kendra Harrison, Kendra's a sophomore.
Kendra's a sophomore.
Yeah, Neal's a sophomore also, isn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Also, because they were both freshmen together last year.
Both of them. It's crazy.
Going to be Clinton's first trip back to the state title game since 2005, a game that they won back then. The Rams are going back and trying to, like you mentioned, last year's loss, East Duplin in the championship game, 24-21. 30th state championship game appearance, so far 22-7. Not bad percentages right now. This is unreal. The one win away from bringing home the title again. Be the 23rd state title in 2023, which is kind of interesting too. Those are some words from Jim Sands of Rockingham. Now using some of his words there, but 2023 going for championship number 23. So pretty good numbers right there for Reidsville these days.
And I mean, it's crazy that they've got a dynasty, like maybe the NFL or NBA. It's easier to build a dynasty. You've got the same players, but these are guys who are supposed to be here for 2 years and on their way out.
Right.
And you know, Reidsville's looking for their 23rd state title. It's almost unreal.
And we hear about Clinton, they like that smash mouth football. They got a couple 1,000-yard rushers and their quarterback over 1,800 yards past him. But the smash mouth football, the Clinton Dark Horses love to run that football, and they'll run it right down your throat if you let them.
3,731 rushing yards, which is about 1,400 more than Reidsville's. So obviously outweighing Reidsville in the rushing game, averaging 11.1 yards per carry.
Per carry, wow.
266 per game, and they've got 60 rushing touchdowns this year, which is in 15 games they're getting like 4 rushing touchdowns per game. It doesn't make sense.
They're loaded. No doubt about it. It's probably, in my opinion, is looking over things going in. This could be the best championship game matchup of all the 4 games that are going to be played.
It'll be very entertaining. I mean, I mentioned that their rushing game is on point, but the passing game for Reidsville takes over. And that's why it's arguable to see which team is better. Reidsville's got like double the pass yards, lower completion percentage and yards per catch, but they pass for 241 yards per game compared to Clinton only passing for 129 yards per game. Now, you can't say Clinton needs to run the ball, has less opportunities to pass the ball because they're rushing in for a touchdown every now and then. But
and to put in the words of the coverage before the game, we understand Clinton's got that glove-type coverage, very good coverage too on defense. It's something the Reidsville guys have to be aware of. But I think for Reidsville's standpoint, they're kind of big players also, big play team. I like those big chunks, those big plays.
48 passing touchdowns to Clinton's 25. So they're almost doubling the passing touchdowns. And passing touchdowns are big plays. But when it comes to defense, it's as evenly matched as it could be.
And on defense, you got guys also play offense. Paul Weiderman, very good on defense, correct?
You got guys playing offense all year, and then they switch over to defense, and they're phenomenal.
And Deontay Neal's defensive back also.
Yeah, led the league.
And defensive end,
he was
Kendra
one
Harrison.
of the best in the country in interceptions last year.
Exactly.
Kendra Harrison, I've got the stat right here. He's got 8 sacks this season. It's ridiculous. And then, but the defenses are evenly matched. It's 25-26 deficit for Reidsville on sacks. They lead 19-17 on interceptions and 13-12 on fumble recoveries. But they're basically the same thing.
So you line them up. You got those 5 guys up front, the blockers. That's going to be the difference in the game.
I believe
offensive
so.
line up both teams. Who can block the other guy and keep them, give your guys time to throw.
It's definitely going to be entertaining. But Al Lee hasn't made any mistakes this playoff. So that's what you've got to be worried about if you're Clinton. Like, sure, they make the interceptions, they get the sacks, they get the big plays, but Al Lee isn't making mistakes right now.
Get the job done. Who wins this game? I know you're Reidsville.
Who wins this game? Reidsville.
I want to know the score, too. What's the
Reidsville.
score going to be?
Reidsville.
What kind of score are you laying on this game?
31-28 Reidsville.
Boy, a close one.
It's
kind of reversing last year's difference. Last year lost by 3, this year they win by 3.
It's definitely not going to be
Add that in.
a blowout.
What about, I mean, last year I think it came into play and they did pretty well with it for the most part. What about this Reidsville kicking game? They got a field goal kicker, get extra point?
They don't need a field goal kicker because, you know, they grab a touchdown and they go for 2 seemingly every time.
But you put the score 31-28. So we might have a field goal in there somewhere.
We might see a field goal somewhere, or we could see somewhere where they don't need a field goal.
Right.
Could see
they may go for 2 somewhere.
3 go for 2s, and it's 24 points to 28, and then they, you know, maybe kick an extra point on the last
As a kicker
play.
on the team, is he like a dual position player? One of the linemen, is he the
No,
kicker?
I don't think so. I don't think he's a dual position.
Gotcha. Because then one year, Reidsville had a guy who was also a lineman as well, and I saw this guy.
Lineman?
He was about 240, 250 as a kicker. Well, this guy, if he kicks it too hard, maybe in the next county, possibly. What about these other games? We'll come back a little bit more Reidsville as we get it closed. What about the Mount Airy Tarboro game? Are you a Western? I'm going all West teams. They may not win them all, but I'm going all West.
You're a Western kind of guy.
Yeah,
Why is that?
Western, when they play the East-West All-Star game, always pull for this. Hate the East. I didn't like the East this weekend. I can't stand those Eastern guys because I'm a West guy for life, like Scott Hall and Kevin Ashton said, for life. So I'm going all West. But how about you? What about this game coming in between Mount Airy Tarboro, the 1A game? Who do you like? Tarboro's 7th straight championship game for them going in.
7th straight? How many have they won?
I think they've won 5 of those.
5 of those. It's kind of like trying to emulate Reidsville in the 1A.
Yeah.
I'll go with Tarboro just because they have
team.
more experience.
And Mount Airy defended state champ, though, so Tarboro didn't get it last year, so Mount Airy has beaten them already. And Mount Airy has won, I don't think they've lost again the past 2 years.
Revenge run.
Yeah.
I'll stay with Tarboro.
What about Hickory, Fayetteville 71st? Hickory knocked off Dudley, Fayetteville 71st. Victorious against Northern Nash last week.
That Dudley loss hurt, didn't it?
Oh, it stung. I think
hurt.
it's still hurting this week. People are still looking at their arms, or the bruises still showing. You can feel it.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was kind of sad when I read that headline.
42-41. Tough.
42-41.
What about this week, though? Hickory and Fayetteville 71st.
You say Hickory beat Dudley.
Yeah.
I always feel like when you come off of one of those big adrenaline games, I don't know. I think maybe there's that adrenaline dump after that. Like, you've had that big game.
That was your game?
I'll go with Fayetteville.
Going to take another Eastern team. What about Weddington, the 4A team that beat Grimsley a couple weeks ago? I guess Wilmington Hoggard for the 4A title.
Weddington. I've got to go with Weddington.
Weddington got you there. I know you're going to Reidsville, so that takes care of the 4. Back back to Reidsville again. What do they have to do to win this game? Will you be there or will you be watching on TV?
I'll have to listen to it. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Won't be able to make it there.
Gosh, you probably got some busy Saturday
plans. Busy Saturday.
You're always busy education-wise too.
Yeah,
early college keeps you moving.
Yeah, semester's about to wrap up, and I'm very ready for it.
You put in a lot of work this first semester this year.
Yes, sir.
But back to Reidsville again. What are they got to do to win this game?
What do they have to do? They have to keep getting turnovers, and they have to stick with who they are. I don't want to see them, not going on fourth downs or not going for two-point conversions just because this is a better team than they've been facing. They need to stick to who they are. And the defense certainly has to play well if you want to knock off a team like Clinton. Stopping the run obviously would be a big factor, but just stay into it, stay true to who you are, Reidsville, and that's what's gotten them 22 state titles. Eric T, they've got to trust in their coach. He had to build some trust within the roster earlier this year.
So they got to play Reidsville football to win it.
Definitely.
Reidsville Ram football.
Play Reidsville football.
What have you liked about covering this team this year? What's been fun about following these guys? You got with them back in the very first part of the season. You're covering Rockingham County, but you had to lean toward Reidsville. They were the best teams. You got to follow the team as tops.
Yeah.
What have you found to be fun and enjoyable about covering this team this year?
The fun part is seeing the players develop, seeing the team develop. Reidsville started off kind of rocky, and people were questioning them early on in the season. Some of their injured players come back. They started to build some more chemistry. It's been fun to see them go up, and it's been fun to see them win. Any
connections developed with any of the players? Get to know some of the players this year? Get to know any of the guys?
I know a couple of them. Not too well, but I know a couple of them.
Any names you can drop in? Shout-outs?
Deontay Neal, went to school with him
wow.
in middle school.
What was he like back then as an athlete? Was he good even back then?
He was insane in basketball, but I never watched him play football because went to a private school, and they didn't have a football team. Jeremiah Cobb, he's in my math class. He's a backup quarterback for him.
Is he in relation to the running back Cobb?
No.
No relation?
No.
Gotcha.
No relation with Jarrell Cobb, but Jarrell Cobb, he's put up some stats this year.
He doesn't get as much pub sometimes as the others. He's been putting
1,000 rushing yards, and he's only played 13 games.
1,000 rushing yards on a very heavy laden passing team.
Yeah, and 17 touchdowns, 8 yards per carry, over 8 yards per carry actually. Jarrell Cobb's been insane this year.
What community? What private school did you guys attend back in those days up in Reidsville?
I went to Community Baptist.
You almost said it. You heard me almost say it.
Yeah,
that's what I think. When I think of the private schools, I think of Community Baptist. Is it the Crusaders? What's the nickname again?
Conquerors.
I think it was the C.
Yeah, you're close.
They used to send all their scores my way. They kind of quieted that, but I used to do all their scores on the website especially for girls basketball. The girls basketball, he used to send me everything.
The girls bask's used to be insane.
It used to be people like bad news. They beat people bad. But we used to post every, what I call those guys? It was Community Bad. Oh, I call them CBS, like CBS Sports.
Yeah, that's what we call them.
I call them CBS on the website all the time. CBS basketball updates for their girls basketball. I didn't get much on the boys back then. Always something on the girls though. Like
yeah,
you said,
the boys basketball has not been as good as the girls. It's been dominance on the girls' side for a few years.
Who's been the coach up there? Same coach for a while?
No, it's actually switched around a few times.
Interesting. And you went only to the early college from Community Baptist straight
Sir.
You didn't go to the public schools up there either.
No.
That's good stuff. Not bad at all. You've got a good background education because this day and time, if you go any school, any different direction, if you're doing the right thing, you've got some good learning, no doubt about that. What have you, again, learned about covering football so far this season in your role here on the website? Sometimes you've learned.
I've learned how complicated football can be. You can't just look at the stats and say this player played well or something like that. You see players give up more yards if they get more interceptions, like Deron Bland for the Cowboys, things like that. Trevon Diggs had 11 interceptions that one year, but he was giving up more yards. And you see that in high school football too, and it's harder to actually recognize that because you're seeing them in person. But it's the complications of football. Football is the ultimate team sport, and it's the sport where coaching matters the most. I've seen some questionable plays. You see some of the best plays in your life and some of the worst plays in your life, sometimes on the same drive.
Yeah.
And
not just in the same game, but on the same drive.
Oh, same drive.
Interesting too from that standpoint. People don't realize when you tell them you're covering a game, they think you just go to the game and just sit back and watch it, enjoy it, and go back. But you've got to make so many notes, so many details, players' names. There's so much to keep up. People never even realize how much there's to keep up with.
When there's 22 players on the field, it's a lot harder.
And you sure can't be writing a story that number 22 ran across the field. You can't go with that. You got to have every name, every spot, everything correct to get that
See,
stuff
in
done.
baseball, writing for baseball is a lot easier than that.
How so?
Baseball, it's one man versus one man, pitcher versus the man at the plate. It's a lot slower.
Oh, yes, much slower.
A lot slower. You know, so-and-so hits it to so-and-so, and it's a lot more heavily based off of stats. Football, you can't really look at stats as much because somebody can have a fantastic game and it doesn't show up in the stat sheet.
A lot more filler sometimes in baseball, too, because you got so much that time goes kind of dead. There's pauses and waits. You know, next guy walking up to the plate, he's going to step out of the batter's box limited number of times, so he's now restricted. But all those things are different in baseball. Baseball, you got to make it a longer broadcast. Football, it happens pretty quick. Basketball, man, to me, that is a sport because it goes boom, 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 so fast, so quick every time.
But you can also rely on stats in basketball as well, and there's 10 players on the court. They're not wearing helmets, so you don't have to
see them.
You don't have to go based off of their number and maybe how tall they are.
You actually get to see their faces.
Oh yeah,
during the
you get
game.
to see them real close.
Football, I mean, you may not see that guy's face the entire year.
Oh
You
yeah.
luck up and see him sometime.
Yeah, but on Reidsville, Kendra Harrison, really hard to miss.
Yeah, you can't miss him for sure.
Yeah, when you see somebody who's about
6'8",
8'10",
250, yeah,
feels like
8'10", yeah. You see him on Twitter. I mean, he is every bit of it
Scary.
too. 8'10". What about your basketball these days? You're still putting your basketball time in?
No, I'm not.
No pickup, no church ball.
No,
Anything?
I'll go to the Y every now and then and play some pickup, but I don't play any organized basketball right now.
Give it all up as far as that goes.
Yes.
What do you do after this football is closed out to cover you? You go on in there. You going to cover some basketball stuff too? Or?
I'm not sure. I haven't decided anything yet. You know.
You got to get all your stuff done with the early college first.
Finishing the semester at early college has been what I've been focused on.
Early college is all. This is kind of an interesting statement, or maybe a profound statement, but maybe not. Early college is a lot like college.
Yeah.
It is college, right?
I mean, you graduate with a 2-year degree, so.
Wow, you got 2 years already knocked out by the time you get through.
So by the time I'm a senior at early college, I'll be done with high school classes.
Right.
So it's pretty much college.
So when you go to college, you should be going probably for a master's degree because you've already got about 2 years of college.
Yeah, or I could
done.
just graduate when I'm 20. You know.
Yeah, leave early.
Never know what the future holds, though.
Yep. I tell you what, you've done a good job for us.
Thank you.
Appreciate all your
I've
work.
had a lot of fun.
And we'll do some stuff. We for sure not. Basketball, we'll see what you're going to be doing there, but baseball, you're surely going to be with us during baseball season downtown with some baseball games. One day a week with the Grasshoppers this year coming too.
I'm very much looking forward to that, and I thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
I've loved doing this Football in Focus, writing about Reidsville.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully I can write about a win this Saturday.
Yeah, I want you to write about a win. If you get a chance to do some basketball for us too, because Reidsville last year got on a good basketball run.
Oh, yeah,
also.
They won the conference title.
Yeah, and if they get rolling again for basketball,
Kendra and Deontay, the sophomore duo.
Guys. Oh, they're unreal what those guys can do. They may be. Did they make it to the state championship game last year in basketball?
I think yes, they did. Yeah, they went undefeated, and it's sad for other teams because you look at them and you say, oh well, that duo is going to be gone, and after next year. So, no, they've got 3 more years together. They've got more chemistry to develop. And Deontay's focus is more on basketball than football, from what I've heard. So it's crazy, at his height too.
Kendra is actually rated higher in basketball than he is in football as far as his stars
And
go.
Kendra's gotten a lot of offers from teams in football, like met with Alabama, but basketball he just does just as well.
And, 2 guys can really dictate the flow of a game more so in basketball, even in football. 2 guys in football can't do quite as much. They need more help. Basketball, 2 guys can carry you some games too, and the other guys kick in a little extra help.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see some Reidsville basketball this year, some Rockingham County basketball.
Where would you be going to school? You told us before, if you're not going to early college, where would you be going to school?
Probably my old private school, or if I had to go to
public. How high school would you be going to?
My high school? I'm not even sure because we live right on the line. So it's dictated by like a stoplight, so I think Rockingham. But I'm not exactly sure. But it does well because I have no bias towards teams.
You're just coming to Rockingham County. Yeah.
Rockingham County fan.
You got it. And funny thing about that, dictated by a stoplight as far as the district goes. That's
well, like somebody across our street goes to one high school, and then it's too complicated.
So
for
one
me.
side you got the flashing red light, the other side you got the flashing caution light. It just depends which way you want to go.
Yeah, I have no idea what my zonal school is.
Keep doing what you're doing.
I will.
Tell your dad we appreciate him letting you come in for us too this year.
Thank you.
Jay Ramey, Football in Focus at the Tee It Up Indoors on Battleground. We'll be around again sometime with some basketball games. We'll be at Greensboro Sports Radio broadcasting basketball this coming season. Always keep it on GreensboroSports.com. We thank Don Moore for the excellent work he's done. Don always doing a super job. He's also a Reidsville man, Reidsville High School grad from years ago. And we thank you for tuning in. Have a great night.